We need to talk about the 2025 stock market rally and whether it's a bubble or a real opportunity. Right now, markets are climbing and the S&P 500 just smashed a new high this week. So it's got everyone buzzing. Today, we're going to dive into what's driving this and if it's something you should jump into or maybe hold off on. So let's get into it and see what's really going on. So, if you're wondering what's behind this rally, it's a mix of things. Big tech companies are raking in cash, and there's talk that the Fed might cut rates soon, which gets people excited. And folks are still spending money out there, keeping the economy humming. But I have heard some say it feels like we're on the edge of something big, and that got me curious. Let's start with the bubble idea. It's a wild one. When stocks shoot up this fast and something, it's like a balloon ready to pop. I remember back in 2000, the dot com crash hit hard. People were buying anything with dot com in the name, and then it all came tumbling down, wiping out fortunes overnight. And now, with so many people pulling into tech stocks, it feels a bit like that. I talked to a friend who's been trading for years, and he said he's seeing folks borrow money to buy more shares, which can turn ugly fast if the market shifts. So, if those big names stumble, it might drag the whole thing down with it. Now, let's flip it. What about the opportunity? There's a lot to like here. Companies are making good money and everyone's jumping on the AI bandwagon, which is creating a ton of buzz. And with inflation cooling off a bit, there's hope for a cheaper borrowing ahead. I saw this post on Reddit from a guy who turned a small investment in a space stock into a nice profit this month. Something about satellites, and he's betting on more growth. And I remember back in 2016, the market kept climbing through the fall. So history might be on our side. So it could be a chance to get in on something big. Now let's dig into the numbers a bit more. So the market's been on a tear, but things are getting shaky. Volatility is picking up, and some big players are cashing out their shares. And job numbers look solid last month, which keeps money flowing. So it's back and forth. Some see a bright futures, others think we're headed for a fall. I remember watching a trader on a live stream talk about key levels to watch, and he said if the market holds steady, it could keep going, but a dip might signal trouble. For you personally, this matters a lot. If it's a bubble, a crash could hit your savings hard. Think of that guy in 2008 who lost half his retirement when the housing market tanked, and he had to start all over. If it's real, riding the wave or buying on dips could grow your money, maybe in tech or green energy. And new policies could shake things up. Tax breaks might lift stocks, but trade fights could hurt. So think what you can handle and maybe check those chart patterns we talk about here. Globally, this rally got the world's watching. Europe's market are riding the wave and Asia jumping in with some big economic moves. But I heard a story about a trader in London who lost big when the US market dipped back in 2018. And he said a US stumble could pull everyone down with it. And with oil prices holding steady, energy stocks might be a safe bet. So it's a global game, and keep an eye on what's happening out there. I saw this post on Reddit about a guy who jumped into stocks during a rally a couple years back, thinking it was a sure thing, and he rode it up for a while. But when it turned, he panicked and sold low, losing a big chunk of his savings. He learned to diversify after that, added some bonds, and waited for the next dip. And it's a reminder that timing matters. So think about spreading your bets, maybe with some steady options alongside the growth stuff. And there's a wild one from the past. Back in 1920s, the market soared before the great crash of 1929. People were buying on margin, partying like there was no tomorrow, and then it collapsed. I knew someone whose grandpa told stories about losing everything back then. But then you'll also hear stories about people who bought into a rally back in 2007 and held on, turning a modest stake into a down payment on a house. So it's a roller coaster. It could be a thrill or a spill. My take, the rally's got some strong winds behind it if companies keep earning and rates drop, but that bubble risk is lurking with all the hype. So mix it up, maybe some value stocks or safer picks with your growth bets, and watch those market levels we've talked about before. They could be your guide. It's your money, and staying on top of the market makes a difference. So let me know what you think. Is it time to buy or just sit and watch and wait? Leave a comment below, give this a like and subscribe to the channel, and please turn on your post notification. Share this with a friend who needs to know, and I will catch you on the next video. Let's keep learning more about money and your finances.